This video is part of tax planning, in which I will cover tax issues individuals may face while planning their taxes. In this video, we will cover one thing. We will investigate 10 points which will help us to determine that whether individual fails IR35 or they are outside the scope of IR35. And in next video, we will cover practical application of IR35 by posing a hypothetical question as well as looking into HMRC case and finding out why HMRC caught BBC journalists under IR35. So, under the income tax, IR35 is one of the major tax issues that individuals may face while planning their taxes or reducing their tax bill by setting up a limited company. If you are watching this video, I am hoping you must be familiar with IR35 basic. However, let's quickly go through these. IR is the short form used for intermediaries legislation, which are sets of rules that apply to when you work for your client through an intermediary, which can be limited company or personal service company. This is how many contractors operate. However, HMRC called such workers as deemed employees. By applying these 10 points, you will establish that whether these intermediaries or contractors are an employees. Number one is background. Contractor must check that advertised position is really for contractors or they are looking for an employee. If the contract is for a role that previously filled by an employee, then there is a high chance of contract and client expectations will be for the workers to fill the role with the characteristics of an employee and not a genuine contractor. So in this case, contract could fail IR35. Number two is previous status ruling. HMRC could have left remarks on client's business previously, having investigated previous contractors and ruled that they are within IR35. Contractor may have left for a new role outside the IR35 and now client re-advertised the same position for a contractor. This type of IR35 trap is difficult to spot, so it is essential contractor must get watertight contract, otherwise it could fail IR35. Number three is contract drafting. HMRC inspector sees thousands of contracts like this, so it might be possible HMRC inspector put contractor in IR35 frame quickly. So drafting a contract, you must make sure get expert services or at least get a review from experts for your draft contracts if you are drafting yourself. And if you send those contracts to your clients or agents without having expert services or expert reviews, if you are drafting yourself, then there are high chances that those contracts fail IR35. Number four is control. Supervision and control are classic test of employment, and that will put a contractor inside the IR35. If following points appear into contract, then it means you have failed the IR35. Start and finish times appearing in the contract, specific days the contractor should work in the contract, including lunch break times and duration in the contract, specific clauses stating that the client has supervision and control over the contractor. All of these clauses normally found in the employment contract but should never appear in a contractor or business to business contract for services, otherwise it will likely to fail IR35 test. True contractors have control over when and how they work, not the client. Number five is substitute. Another classic example of employment is whether contractor can supply a substitute. If they genuinely can, then there is a little doubt that contract is outside IR35. But if there is no right of substitution clause or the client clearly indicates in correspondence such as emails or in other records that should never even consider sending in a substitute, then contract probably failed IR35. Like for example, if you are providing bookkeeping services and occasionally you ask one of your friends to complete either monthly bookkeeping or quarterly VAT returns on your behalf, and then that is absolutely fine and you will consider as a contractor. However, on the other hand, if your client explicitly states that you cannot ask any other person to complete work on your behalf, then it fails IR35. Number 6 is mutuality of obligations. Does the contract allow contractors to take other projects simultaneously, or can the client veto other contractors? Let's say if contract specifies exclusively, simply states X number of hours at Y rate on an ongoing basis and requires the contractor to take whatever work the client throws at them, then it indicates mutuality of obligations and fails IR35. Number 7 is financial risk. Regular, guaranteed monthly or weekly income specified based on numbers of hours looks more like an employee contract for wages rather than professional fees paid to contractors for their services to their personal services companies. Ideally, a contractor should invoice when project milestones are completed with details of work completed as well as number of hours worked and rate per hour. Guaranteed regular income looks like a salary and it could fail IR35. Number 8 is equipment. Contractors often find they are using client equipment for safety and security purposes, which is absolutely fine. This is generally not an issue if contractors are using client equipment for a specific business reason, and it could not fail IR35. However, contractors should buy their own equipments and use them where possible and where relevant, and they should highlight this clause in the contract. Number 9 is part and parcel. If a contractor becomes so integral into the client's organization that they appear on telephone list, in organization charts, get volunteered to become fire marshal, or even have staff reporting to them, then they are behaving exactly like an employee and the contract fails IR35. Contractor should have to distance themselves from the client's corporate structure. If, however, a contractor appears to be part and parcel of the client's business, they can be found to be inside IR35, no matter what their contract says. Number 10 is intention of the parties. The contract should clarify intentions of both contractor and clients, and it should be specified in the contract. Contract should not state anyways intentions of suppliers and customers and not employee and employer, because in any case, if HMRC opens an investigation and your contract says a relationship of supplier and customer or employer and an employee, it does not then support your case and prove that you fail IR35. I hope you understand these 10 points, and now you can establish that by applying these points whether you or your client are failing IR35 or you both are outside scope of IR35. In the next video, we will demonstrate a recent HMRC investigation against BBC journalists and find out why HMRC caught BBC journalists under IR35 legislation. And I will also pose a hypothetical question to demonstrate practical application of IR35. Please keep me posted if any questions you might have, or if you want me to publish any future video or any specific topic, I would love to do that. As always, hand ahead salute until the next video.